My name is Jim Estes, and today I'm going to talk about a drill that I think is extremely important for the swing plane. So what I want you to do is, and this, by the way, is going to give you an instant understanding of exactly the feeling you want to have in the golf swing. Take a club. You can put a rod, alignment rod, in the grip, or I'm sorry, in the butt end of the golf club. Take the golf club, turn it like you're going to hold it, and then what I want you to do is take that club, put it right against your left hip, so you're holding both clubs here. Now you've got an alignment rod on the ground and a golf ball, and what I want you to do, getting into your good posture position, your weight over the arches, feel balanced. The insides of the heels are going to be about the width of your hips. Take a swing back, slow motion, and trace with that alignment rod the target line all the way up. The shaft should be parallel to your target line at the top, and then slowly coming down, trace the line. And do this in slow motion. Right into the impact position. So this is a great feedback tool, visual feedback tool for learning the proper swing plane. Go right to your impact position. I encourage you to do this drill in slow motion, and if you have 5 minutes a day, if you do this drill every day, I guarantee you're going to improve your golf swing. So again, I think you'll find this to be extremely helpful. JimEstesGolf.com if you have any questions. In your setup, I want you to think of it like this. You're going to hinge from your hips, slide your hands down your thighs till you reach the top of your knees and put your hands together. That sort of hinging is really important, which you do pretty well. Okay. This is a nice setup. You look relaxed, but I want your arms, hands, all of your muscles in the extremities to be as relaxed as possible. Okay. So you're not squeezing the club. Okay. You know, it's similar in...
I do that instinctively, but
right.
When I catch myself, I relax. But
it looks
I
good.
Think about it.
All right, so setup-wise, I like everything. As I indicated, I want to feel a little more weight on the forward leg with a wedge. So maybe 60-40.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Okay. All right, now the problem is occurring right about here in the forward swing. Right here, you start your downswing, and you really want to push from the ground and generate a little more speed.
With a lot of arms.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you some exercises, one of which is you're going to practice separating your upper and lower body. So I want you to be able to move your lower body segment independently of your upper body segment. And that's an exercise you just practice. You want to separate. Now in your golf swing, you're not going to think about that on the course. This is just something you work on. All right, so understand the sequence of events from the top of your backswing is such that your hands are moving a little before your hips. See, in the downswing, your hips should have already started moving before you finish the backswing. So, as an example, there you're releasing, see how the club head passes your hands a little bit right there? You're sort of breaking down. That's just from a dysfunctional lower body. Okay. That just means your lower body relative... Well, right. Not only is the sequence off, but the speed in which you move the pelvis is too slow. Okay. So the pelvis has to move at the same rate of speed that the hands. Yeah. So think of it like
throwing
this.
The club
right.
On my back.
Right. You're throwing your hands past the ball, and the pelvis is stationary. It's too static. Okay. So one of the exercises I'm going to have you do, there's a bunch of different ones, but I'm just going to give you a couple. This is called a lag drill. You're going to start with your hands fully uncocked. Okay. So your wrists your hands are almost parallel to the ground. No wrist hinge. Okay. The shaft's going to be approximately parallel. Okay. And then from there, you're going to actually try to load the shaft. You're going to add what we call lag or load or whatever. So watch how I do this. This is an exercise I want you to work on. You see how I did that?
Okay.
So you're going to actually practice loading the shaft on the downswing.
I'm here.
Right. You're going to practice that movement. So, and then what I want you to do, and this is the important part, Byron, I don't want your hands to move backwards. They can only move forward to initiate the movement. toward the ball. You see how I loaded the shaft there?
Okay.
So essentially it's a throwing motion. So this is an exercise that it's going to do two things. It's going to get you to initiate from the ground. Think of linear force. If you were pushing against the ground, that's going to give you the sensation that you need to move your lower body. So if you were trying to hit a ball on ice, barefooted, that's essentially what it feels like when you don't use your lower body. You can't push from the ground. You're not going to generate the movement. Yeah. So the sequence of movement is going to be learned by starting from here and moving. Don't move back. Start from here. Your hands are located just above the pelvis, and then you're going to move forward with the hands, not back. Right. So, right. And I don't want you to think consciously about the lower body. What I want you to do is just practice loading the shaft.
Okay.
So the right wrist is going to bend back, the right elbow is going to hinge, and then the shaft's going to uncock when the club head is past, when the hinge, yeah, so that's right. So this is going to get here, and then when the end of the club is right to the ball, you can release the club. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's one exercise. Now, in the meantime, what we're going to do so you basically, you're playing a bit of a pull because this is a flaw, and so you figured out how to hit the ball consistently, sort of with a compensation, if you will, which is okay. But that's why you're inconsistent. It's the breakdown in that left wrist. The good news is your left arm is very, very straight. Now, sometimes people collapse everything.
Okay.
That's when it goes away to the left. All right. So that's one exercise I want you to do. I'm going to show you another one called the pivot drill. You're going to practice moving your pelvis toward the target about 7 to 10 inches without moving your shoulders, and then rotate. So that's just a movement you do in front of a mirror. You just cross your arms, turn your trunk about 90 degrees to the right first, and then what you're going to do is bump your hips, right. That's it, yeah. See, what that's going to do is set you up to rotate through.
Okay.
Right, so what you'll see here, and you do a decent job, but there's not enough shift toward the target here. So I want your left hip to make a pronounced lateral movement. You see, there's not a lot of lateral shift.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you a person doing this movement, and then you can watch this when you're at home. Anywhere, actually. You can watch it on your phone. It doesn't really matter. But here we go. Now, so as he's finishing the backswing, watch how the lower body starts to engage. Right there. You see how there's a little lateral
movement. Okay.
Yeah, so there's that lateral movement right there, and he's pushing from the ground. You can see how the knees are translated, everything's moving, and obviously he stored that energy in the shaft and the club head there. Right.
The hand is right over the ball.
Right. Now he's going to start to unload the shaft.
Okay.
But what we've noticed here is how much the lower body's actually made a shift. I'm not saying that you're...
You can do all that.
You can do this, and this is just something you're working on. You're not doing this while you swing. These are things you're just working on.
Okay.
It'll gradually integrate itself over time. It's just repetition, but you got to move sort of each piece. You know, you're working on the pieces, and then you just got to let that happen on the golf course.
Okay.
But I'm
just think about starting that movement on the downswing with my hip.
Yeah, but laterally.
Okay.
First. Not spinning, not rotating first. It's
Not this way.
Right, it's got to go lateral. Right. Now, when
I've heard this is the wrong move. I guess not.
It's not.
No.
Well, the bottom line is you can see right here, watch his hips, they go forward.
Yeah.
It's simultaneous, right? I mean, we're talking about milliseconds here. We're talking about, 300 milliseconds from the top of the swing to the ball. That's not a lot of time. That's why it's hard to think about it. All right.